We are on the verge of the 30th anniversary of the martyrdom of Ustad Mazari. In this episode, I and Mrs. Zainab غیبی are going to explore the position of Baba Mazari's political thoughts and belief system amongst the new generation of Hazaras, mostly those who are born and raised in the Western countries. Zainab Jan, welcome to Bastard Podcast.
Thank you so much. It is a pleasure to be here.
Tell us a little bit about yourself first, who you are and what you do.
I am a proud Hazara, but I have grown up in Germany and currently I live in Denmark. I have a little bit about my educational background. I have studied business and politics, but in my master's I have done economics, so I am a proud financial economist as well. And on a daily, I love to work with startups, so very different from Hazara activism, actually.
Since when you get known with Baba Mazari?
Oh, that is a good question. Basically, ever since I started crawling, since I started walking, since I started talking, Ustad Mazari was always a big topic in my family. And so since I was a child, I was familiarized with his work and his legacy. But really, when I grew older, and I would say in the past couple of years, when I became more active and when I began to actively learn about my Hazara identity, is when I truly started to appreciate all the work and the fight that he has been doing in his past.
As you know, Baba Mazari was also a cleric or mullah and a mujahid, and there are numbers of other mujahids and mullahs in Afghanistan. What is the difference between the Mazari and the other mullahs that made you interested in his thoughts and belief system?
I think the better question here to ask, or the more impactful question here to ask, is what is his similarity with these other clerics and with these other mujahid fighters? Because Mr. Mazari, once you get acquainted with his work and with his ideas, I don't want to say we're ahead of his time, but they were truly unique because, well, he was fighting for the Hazara cause and to liberate our people from oppression, from, the suppression and all the discrimination. He also was always, and I can say this with confidence, was always advocating for a united Afghanistan. He never saw one people above the other, but it was always about equality and more so about equity among the people. And I think this is a thought that we have not truly emphasized enough throughout Hazara history and throughout Afghanistan's history, but it is something that makes him stand apart and makes him relevant as ever.
Okay, now we are in his 30th anniversary of his martyrdom. And there is a conference which is taking place in Copenhagen, as I know so far that you are also active in that conference. Why did you initiate that conference, and what is your aim or what's your main goal?
That is an important question, and I could talk about this for a very long time, but I try to keep it brief because there are so many people that hopefully will attend the event, so I will not spoil too much. But the reason behind this is that, first of all, 30 years is a lifetime of a human being. And I myself am not even 30 years old. I am 27. And there are many people in my generation who maybe have not had the privilege to be acquainted with the legacy of Mazari the way I have been. Or maybe there are unfamiliarities or uncertainties. Maybe there is a fear to claim the fight that Mazari has done so far and claim it as ours and to use it in our own fight. And truly, so this is the idea. We want to give a presentation of the importance of everything that Mazari has done for our people. And we want to do it as the youth, for the youth. Of course, everyone is welcome from every generation and every background, Hazara or not. But I think it is primarily to reach a target audience that maybe so far has not really shown a lot of initiative, has maybe not shown a lot of engagement with the ideas and with the ideology of Mazari.
But who are your main audience in this conference? Is it the youth of Hazaras or some foreign people?
I would dare to say that it is both. I think because it is an event that is happening, it is a seminar that is spreading over an entire day. But with the help of my amazing co-organizers, we are striving to record everything, to distribute the video footage around the world. So I think truly this will be engaging to both my Hazara peers, but as you mentioned, of course, also the international community. And by international community, I mean actors who are active in human rights and this type of activism, but who are maybe not as familiar with the work of Mazari or who have a certain prejudice against them. So definitely also that. If you look at our guest list and our agenda, you will see that we have a plethora of foreign guests attending, hopefully as well, because I think it will be very intellectually stimulating for them to hear about Hazaras as well.
Who and which organizations, foreign organization, have you invited in that conference, to that conference?
Yeah, I think so far we have a vast plethora of guests coming or hopefully coming, and I think the very interesting step that we've taken this time that is probably new to this type of event is to invite a lot of ambassadors from East Asian and Asian countries, especially those countries with a rich cultural and religious history anchored in Buddhism, because we want to show to them that we have this incredible similarity because us Hazaras, we have a strong past in the Buddhist faith as well, and I think this will be incredibly interesting for them and probably also new. So it is them, but also a range of international actors. Hopefully, some RSVPs are still pending, so I do not want to make any promises yet.
Yeah.
But more known names, hopefully also within the UN.
Good. You said you're 27 and raised in Europe, in the European countries, mainly in Germany and Denmark. Have you formed any youth group of youth, of Hazara youth, at least in Denmark, to work towards?
Yes. Yes, and it is wonderful to use this opportunity to tell you about this as well. I'm very grateful for that. And I see myself as a representation because in no way am I unique. I think I am very much representing a type of new Hazara that is here in Europe and also in other countries, but especially in Denmark, that is very, very active. And so with these other Hazara youth, I have collaborated and worked together. And I think around 3 or 4 years ago, we have founded an organization that in the Danish name is called Dansk Hazara Forening, or as we would say in English, Danish Hazara Association. And that is exactly what we do there. We try to further the cause. We try to spread awareness about the Hazara cause, about the Hazara rights, but also to build a community of like-minded people that cherish their Hazara identity. And last but not least, also to build bridges within the Hazara people and the local community and the culture, in this case being the Danish culture.
Have you formed any bridge, or have you been in contact with other Hazara youth in other countries, and mainly in Western countries?
So far, I believe our official collaborations, if that is what you're asking, have been a few, but they have been very effective. We have commemorated the fall of Afghanistan to the Taliban, which was a global event in collaboration with both Hazara, but also Afghan associations across the world. But on a more personal level and unofficially, we also have been in touch with the UK Hazara Committee, for example, or also organizations and communities across Scandinavia and Germany. And it is incredibly fascinating to see that we're not alone in trying to unionize and get together, but this is really a movement that we see across Europe happening.
Do you have the issue of a genocide, Hazara genocide, on your agenda, on your list when you're talking to the Danish organizations, governmental or non-governmental organization? Do you have that in your list and talk about that?
Absolutely. And I think this is something that we learned from our parents, from the generation before us. But having grown up in Europe, in Germany, me, for example, or my colleagues here in Denmark, we are not afraid to say and to name the things by what they truly are. Our people have been killed in Afghanistan, they have been tortured, they have been oppressed, and there is no way to deny that it is and it was a genocide. And therefore, we are not afraid to call it a genocide, and we're not afraid to go out to the Danish government. We have been in conversation with Danish parliament members, with Danish political parties, but also with Danish NGOs and human rights organizations, also international ones like Amnesty International. We are in close collaboration with them. We have very good ties with them, and we're continuously pushing this not only on our own agenda, but onto the agenda of the political spectrum here in Denmark. It is very difficult, as you might know yourself, because while we are quite a few Hazaras here in Denmark, it is always also Danish political topics that take the top priority in the agenda. But I believe that if we continuously do this, people start to take this matter seriously more and more. And not to make this too much of a long-winded answer, but thankfully we also provide them with very strong and hard evidence about the fact that.
As a youth, what do you think the reason that our community, the Hazara community, mostly in Western countries, haven't been successful in reaching out and making contact with the international organizations, with the state organization and the countries that they are living in?
I would like to say that, first of all, maybe we have not been unsuccessful in this endeavor, but I think maybe it has not really been the priority so far. And maybe it hasn't been the priority because we did not have enough time and resources to do so. I am aware that for a lot of us, we are second generation that have come here. A lot of us are first generation. And from what I can see around me, we have a lot of very engaged Hazara youth. But when I say very engaged, a lot of the times we have only 24 hours in our day. So that engagement oftentimes is channeled into academic excellence, into excellence at sport, at excellence at work. And everywhere I look, our Hazaras are truly amongst the best of the best. And I think maybe it hasn't been tried enough to do so, but I hope that this event and part of this event, like things like these interviews, will motivate my peers to take this matter very, very seriously and to organize together to bring this awareness also outside of the Hazara community into the more general public and into the countries that they're residing as. For example, I see myself as a European Hazara, and by that I mean that I also want to bring the Hazara cause to the European awareness and to the European society. So I hope this is a good take on my opinion for the answer.
As the last question, what is your message to your generation, to the younger generation of Hazaras, especially in this Western world?
That is a very good one. There are many, but I think if I had to pick one, it would be don't forget. Don't forget where you come from. Don't forget what your parents have done. Don't forget what the generations before us have done. Don't forget history, because it is very, very easy. And I am also part of this problem. Sometimes it's very easy to forget all the hardship and all the sacrifices people before us have made, just so that now we can live in relative comfort, we can live in peace, especially if we're living outside of Afghanistan, for example, or outside of Pakistan or Iran. It is very easy to forget these things when you go to work every morning or when you go to university every morning. But it is incredibly rewarding to connect with other people and to really, really put an effort into this, that not only we don't forget the things, but also we keep these things alive, and we finally make some more tangible progress, some progress that will both fulfill our own hearts, but will also further the rights and the cause of us as a people.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much
for accepting my invitation for this episode.
It is totally on my side, the pleasure. Thank you so much for taking the time. It is amazing what you do with your channel. It is highly appreciated.
Thanks a lot. And I wish you good luck with your activism and also with your upcoming conference in Copenhagen.
Thank you so much.